Hello, everybody. So good to be back. I want to talk to you about a conversation I had this morning, or something that came up in that conversation. Having a conversation with a client of mine. This was a woman who was awake before she ever met me, but she had the amazing humility to write me anyway and say, I think there might be still something that you could teach me, and that you might be able to give me some greater clarity or orientation or something like that. And that's what we've done. And I think it has proven to be beneficial to her. At least that she declares that it has been. But while we were talking, I asked her about her initial awakening, and she told me, well, that she could remember the first time that she truly got, that she really saw that this was it. And man, I remember too, because it is a startling thing. I mean, it's not just surprising, it's startling when you realize this is it. This. I mean, like this very this that's currently present. Oh, I got texting thumb, so that's what's with the brace. I can't be texting on my iPhone for a while, which is God's helping me out here. He's trying to slow me down anyway. So, if this is it, there actually can't be any alternatives to this. I mean, we'll just kind of go along the idea of pretending that this is it. So, if this really was it, there wouldn't be any alternatives to it, would there? I mean, there couldn't be any alternatives to it, because if this is it, there's nothing else but this. But it. But this. Isn't that right? If this is it, there's nothing else but this. There's nothing else but it. There can't be any alternatives. So what we can say is that if this was it, then it would be this it would be equivalent to what is. I mean, that'd be basically synonymous, wouldn't it? If this is it, then we could also say this is what is. So if this is what is, I mean, if what is already present, then there are no alternatives to it. If this is it, and it is. There's only what is. Do you see that? There's no what isn't. And that's where we've actually lived most of our lives. We've really lived our lives in what isn't, haven't we? Haven't we been following this voice in our head? This constant argument with the world. Isn't it so important to us that we listen to it and believe it no matter what it says? And one of the things, I just want you to notice that one of the things that it's telling you, this very reliable thing that just has never found anything right, has it? It knows exactly what should be going on, and it's never this. But the only thing is, if this is it, there can't be anything other than this. It knows just how people should be behaving, but the funny thing is, if this is it, they can't be behaving that way, because this is it. This is what is. There's not any alternatives to what is. There's only what is. So how reliable do you think this is? So, and one of the things I just want you to notice that it's telling you is, I'm not awake. I'm not awake. And here's another one. I'm going to be awake pretty soon. I'm going to be enlightened any time now. But not until, certainly not today. I mean, not really today. And not in this moment. I mean, maybe tonight something weird will happen and I'll, come to enlightenment. Or maybe tomorrow. Or next Wednesday. Probably next Wednesday's beginning to sound pretty plausible, because that's way on out there. So, if this was what is, then what else is what is? Isn't that another way that we really refer to, or at least it's the way that I refer to, awakeness itself? Isn't that right? So, if this is it, then it's equivalent with what is, which is also equivalent with awakeness. So if this was it, this would actually be awakeness that we were already in. this would actually, and when I say that, that's not quite accurate. This would actually already be awakeness, and there would be nothing else. So there'd be no us to be in it. There'd just be awakeness, and this is like sort of like just noise arising from awakeness. So if this was actually awakeness already, just assume that imagine that this is it. Imagine that this is what is. Imagine that this, just bite the bullet for a minute and pretend that this is awakeness. So if this is already awakeness, just with our game, if this is already awakeness, then can it not be awake? Can awakeness not be awake? I mean, does that make any sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me. You know? Oh yeah, awakeness is not awake. I mean, awakeness is awakeness itself. It can't not be awake. So if this is it, and it is equivalent to what is, and what is equivalent to awakeness, then awakeness is here, and it can't not be awake, because by very definition, it is awakeness itself. See, that's what we don't see, is that this is awakeness itself. And what does this include? What is the thing we always, when we're looking for oneness, what's the one thing that we always leave out? This. Isn't that right? Don't we leave it? You know, it's all one, and I'm going looking for it. That means I'm outside the one. I'm outside the one looking for the one. I'm going to find it here shortly, too. So, awakeness, another term for awakeness that we use is we call it presence. Okay, so is there a presence here right now? Is there a presence right here right now? Is this aliveness? Is this aliveness presence? Yeah. I mean, you know that you're here, don't you? I call it sometimes a sense of being. But you know you're here. That's all. Just, we know we're here. I can say I'm here, you can say you're here. We can't maybe say a lot other than that, but we certainly know we're here. So the presence that I'm, looking for and trying to connect to, I mean, I know it couldn't be this presence, because if it's this presence, and this was already awakeness, then actually, then this thing that's talking here and the thing that's listening over there on the other side of the screen would actually be awakeness as well. So you probably thought I was Fred. See, I thought I was Fred for a very long time. I thought I was Fred for over 50 years. I didn't search for some sort of alternative to Fred, but for 24 years when I was seeking. But I thought I was Fred for just over 50 years, 52, something like that. Long time. See, but I'm not Fred. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not Fred. In other words, I am Fred. I am the little man. But that's what's appearing within what? Awakeness. You see this? So, if what's actually talking, I mean, I've looked for Fred, and I've looked for Fred all over, in all kinds of ways. And I don't even bother to look anymore. I cannot find that guy. I cannot find a Fred. So if I cannot find a Fred, but there's something that's talking right now, and there is no Fred, just to pretend, what if there was Fredness, like patterns, but no Fred? In other words, nothing core here at the heart of this, nothing solid, nothing graspable. So if there was no Fred and there was still talking here, what is it that would have to be talking? That would have to be awakeness, wouldn't it? Because this is it. This is what is. What is not other than awakeness. So this thing here actually can't be other than awakeness. See, we thought it was a Fred, and we found out that we're mistaken. That it can't be. And this is If this is awakeness and there's nothing but awakeness, and how many times, I guess we've never heard that before. We're all one. I mean, and this one is we are the awake presence, da 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 da. So let's just, what if that was actually true? What if this is actually true? What if, I mean, just again, back to our game, if this was awakeness, then there wouldn't be anything but awakeness. And I would see that the error of my ways is that I've been thinking I'm this, and in fact I'm awakeness. And I'm spending all my time trying to wake up this unit, when in fact the unit doesn't even have the capacity to wake up because it's just a unit. And I don't have the capacity to wake up either. I, as awakeness, do not have the capacity to wake up because I'm already awake. Because I'm not this unit, I'm awakeness itself. And what I've been trying to do is trying to wake up this unit, but you can't wake up this unit. We might as well get together and discuss trying to wake up that can. Or we can try to wake up this calculator. I mean, we get candles, incense, we hold seances, whatever you want. But we're not going to wake up these objects, and this is just another object in the room. Just another object in the room. You know, much to my chagrin, it's not even a special object. It's just another object. So, now do one more pretend thing for me. Let's pretend that everything that we've pretended so far was actually true instead of just being pretended. So if this is it, and this is, if this is it is equivalent to what is. What is equivalent to awakeness. Awakeness is all. This can't be other than awakeness, so this has to be awakeness that is talking using this body through Fred. Not that awakeness is other than Fred, but on the relative level we could say it's using this unit. Like a puppet. I mean, it's not quite that dire. This the thing is the ego listens to what I'm saying here and it goes, oh God, this is the worst news ever. But it's actually not. It's just the way that the ego receives it right now. Once actually awakening has taken place, you find out it's really delightful. So take a look at this stuff. I know it's kind of goofy, but it might be a way of helping to turn your view just enough. And that's really all anybody can ever actually do, is just like kind of just like turn your head just a little bit to where you can see this, because what we're looking here for is actually, if we're looking for awakeness, is that we really are just looking for a different point of view. We're looking for the true point of view. We're looking actually for a God's eye view of things instead of a Fred's idea of things. And I'm not opposed to the word God, and some people are, and just have to excuse me because I'm going to use it, you know, because it's just too handy. It's a great word. It's such a nice short word that says so much. So if I'm awakeness, there's nothing but awakeness, then what about that God thing? That can't be other than awakeness either, can it? So does awakeness occur in God? Does God occur in awakeness? Or are they somehow synonymous, or is there something else going on altogether? Mr. Advaita said that, well, I won't even go into what he said. I've done that elsewhere, but that'll confuse this issue. So I think what I'll do is I'll get off of here. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this was helpful. Let me know. Bye-bye.